Okay, so it's Sunday night. I thought I'd do my sort of video diary of what we've done. I've been down in university today with Andrea and James. We made pretty good progress throughout the day. Finally got a working model that could be submitted, so quite relieved. And I'll just run through exactly what we've done today. So I went in a bit early and worked on this. I've managed to acquire some land scan data, which is sort of global sort of population density data, and what it does, it kind of accounts for where people might be in any 24-hour period. So it's not necessarily where they live, but it's also accounting for where they work as well. And it's raster data. I think it's about 900-meter, sort of 1 kilometer resolution. So if I turn it on, this is what I've done. I've clipped it to the island area, and the light yellows represent low population, and all the way up to the darkest blues, which represent the highest population. I've extracted out to points the actual populations for that sort of square kilometre, and just labelled them that way. Our AOI is right there in the middle, so if we zoom to Pago Pago, we know our sort of rough estimate for the population of Pago Pago is about 3,500. So if we look at, this sort of figure adding up to about 4, we've had some figures say up to about 4,500, and given that we don't know exactly the extent to which they include the population for Pago Pago, we're looking at about the right numbers here if we're looking at 4,000. So what we're going to do with this is James is going to digitize the built-up areas for the surrounding area, and we're going to proportionately create turtles in those areas. So you can see over here is going to have the most turtles. This one will probably be next, followed by this area, and then this area will have the least. So that's what we're going to do with that. We're going to try and supplement it with census data, just so that we get a better picture, but hopefully that will give us a bit of a better result. So moving on from that, I'll just turn this on. So Andrea showed me how to do a raster to ASCII file today, which is really easy. I'm glad that I finally know how to do that. It makes it a lot easier. What we realised is that our AOI here is slightly off square, so that when we add it into the model, we're not getting square edges. So I haven't got it in this MXD, but we've created a new AOI that's all squared up and producing much better results. So what we did was clipped out the elevation file to an ASCII, and then finally we managed to get our area into NetLogo, and me, James and Andrea put it into NetLogo. Mainly Andrea on this front actually. He's got the geographic data into NetLogo. It did have the elevation, the shapefile for the outline of the country, and the shapefile for the roads. But we realised with our plan we don't really need the shapefiles, so we've got rid of them. And all we have at the moment is the elevation data. And so if I set this up, that's what it looks like. And you see here, this is the one that was off. It was not straight, so we've got a bit of a gap here. So that's what that will fix. But it didn't look like that. That was just to display the elevation. And if I quickly add these back in, and we set it up, now it looks like this. So we can see what we've done is coloured anything that's below sea level as blue, and anything on the land goes from this sort of pale green colour all the way up to brown in the darkest. So we've kind of got our world now. We've got a base to work with, which is really good. Sort of big thanks to Andrea for that. Really good job. And then I added my code from earlier on in the week when I simplified the tsunami sort of simulation. And originally we were getting turtles created all over this space, and even in the water. So turtles were starting in the water, which was not good because they were instantly dying. That's not where we want them to be. So we had a bit of a look into how you can put them in certain places, and when we create turtles, we ask them to move to one of the patches with the colour line +3, which is this light colour here. But the sort of implications of that is once we know proportionately where they should be, we can say, you know, like 40% of them please move to this area, and then 30% of you start here, and then we can randomly assign them within those areas. So that's good for the future. Let's see what this does when it runs. Alright, so it did work earlier on today, but unfortunately the code, I need to change something. I think if I change that to 10, I think it might work better. Still quite haven't worked out why it doesn't work properly, but there we go. I've asked them to run uphill, but there we go. It's a work in progress. So another thing, you can see there's quite a lot of pixels there. So what we've done is, I think we've set, so we worked out the actual size of the file in ArcGIS, and each pixel on the elevation raster equals 10 meters. And so we worked out this is the size that it needs to be to represent that space at 10 meter resolution. And what we've put is each patch size as 2, so that means it's this big basically. Or yeah, so there's 2 pixels per patch. So basically it's 5 meters per pixel. So from that we can sort of work out walking speeds and things, but that's, you know, sort of next steps along the line. So we worked out resolution, we worked out, and Andrea set this up to apply the colour symbology to the elevation file, and we can use the elevation file to make the turtles move uphill, just here. I think that's it for today. So what we're going to do next is try and get a sort of best version of the world with the new clipped ASCII file in. James is going to work on a new raster with pixels that represent road, building or other, and we're going to see if some of the guys can make the turtles have a preference for road. I'm going to work on this code and see if I can take elements of it from the ant model in the model library, and there's a piece in there where ants lay pheromones that evaporate over time, and I think that would be quite useful to simulate panic in a crowd. So I'm going to try and do that. That's about it. So productive day really. It's good that we could meet up and get this sort of work done. That's about it. Cheers.